Hello guys, welcome to this part 3 of the tuning tutorial series. For this video I'm going to be using the Biohyper 7, which uses a Mach 28 engine. In the previous two videos, in part 1 we went through the engine carburetor and what the three core parts of the carburetor do and how to adjust them. In the second part, which we just looked at, we went through adjusting the idle speed screw, how to adjust it and what effect a too high and too low idle speed can have on the engine. In this video, in part 3, we're going to be having a look at high-speed needle and how to tune it, and I'm going to show you guys what a too rich high-speed needle setting looks like and what a too lean high-speed needle setting looks like. So let's just first run through what does rich and what does lean mean. So basically, if an engine is running rich, that means it's got a lot of fuel going in there and not enough air. If the engine is running lean, then it means that there's not enough fuel going in and too much air. Now, for a nitro engine, these guys do not have a sump. They rely entirely on the oil in the nitro fuel to lubricate them, to lubricate the piston, to lubricate the liner, to lubricate all those other internal parts. So it's essential that you never have your engine running lean. If you are struggling with the tuning, then just make sure it's running on the richer side than the leaner side, and by the end of this video you'll know what that richer side looks like. So let's have a look at the high-speed needle. Now, the high-speed needle controls the fuel and air mixture from partial, so let's say about quarter throttle, to full throttle. Here is your high-speed needle. High-speed needle is very, very easy to identify because you can see it in this brass-coloured tube, okay? Usually it's right above just where the fuel inlet goes into your carburetor. If you find your air filter, it will be somewhere around there. Like I said, it's usually in a brass tube. Sometimes these actually have on top of them a finger bolt where you can actually adjust it without using a screwdriver. Whilst that's very handy, make it a little bit more difficult to identify. However, it will still have this brass bit, but it'll just have a little bit on top that you can turn using your thumb and finger. So let's have a look at the high-speed needle. Turning this high-speed needle clockwise, this will decrease how much fuel is going in. Just think of it as a tap at home. When you do the washing up and you turn on the tap, and when you turn it counterclockwise, the water flows, and then when you turn it clockwise and shut it off, the water stops flowing. It's exactly the same thing with this. If you turn it clockwise, that will stop the fuel from flowing or decrease the amount of fuel flowing, and when you turn it counterclockwise, of course, that will open up the tap, that will increase the amount of fuel flowing into the carburetor. So let's start up the engine. Let me show you what a reasonably good high-speed needle setting looks like. It's a setting that I'm happy with. Could still be fine-tuned, could still be a little bit leaner, but for me, especially in this cold winter weather, it's good to have engines running a little bit richer in the winter months. So for me, this setting that it's on right now, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Just before we do that, let me just stress, it's so important that before you start your engine and before you tune your engine, it's so important that you fully warm it up. It's not going to do any good for yourself. You're just going to waste your time if you actually try to tune an engine that is cold. Engines behave totally differently when they're cold, and they run differently, and they require different amounts of fuel. That's why these nitro engines always run best when they're up to operating temperature. So what I would advise doing is simply starting up your engine and just running it around a little bit just to get the engine warmed up. Once it's warm, that's when you can start looking at the tuning settings. So we're going to walk over there, we're going to start the engine up, run it up and down a few times, show you what a good setting looks like. Then I'm going to lean it right out, show you what a bad setting looks like. Then I'm going to richen it right out, show you what a rich setting looks like. So let's do it. Okay, so for me, this is a good setting. When you're at full throttle, what you want to be seeing is some rich blue exhaust smoke. The engine shouldn't be bogging, it certainly shouldn't be quitting. If it is, then something is wrong. So let me show you what I think is a reasonably good high-speed needle setting on this Mach 28 engine. Listen to the sound of it, look at the exhaust smoke, and then from that you can establish what you think is a good high-speed needle setting. With engine tuning, it's all about the sound and it's all about the visual blue smoke. So let's do it. Listen to the sound that it's reaching at full throttle. And look at the rich blue exhaust smoke. So for me, that there is what I would consider to be a good, maybe slightly rich, but that's good in this colder weather. That's what I consider to be a good high-speed hill setting. If you listen to the sound and watch the exhaust smoke, you can't go wrong. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the vehicle back, I'm going to grab a small flat-end screwdriver, and I'm going to richen out the engine. From that you can then observe the increased blue smoke, and the performance is going to be crap. For a 28 engine, you're going to be expecting 35-40 miles an hour out of this buggy, so if it's getting nowhere near it, it's running really sluggish and slow, chances are it's running rich. So let's bring it back. We're going to richen out the engine. That's a counterclockwise turn on the carburetor on that brass needle I just showed you. Let's show you a rich setting. So you can see, really close. Look at all that smoke and just look how sluggish this car is. That's how rich this is running. That there is full throttle. That is a very rich engine. Very rich, okay? So, for me, as you saw there, it had a lot of blue exhaust smoke. This is going to do two things. Firstly, of course, it's going to affect your performance. Your performance is going to be rubbish. Secondly, it's going to use lots of fuel. Okay, thirdly, and most importantly, it's going to foul your glow plugs constantly. You're going to be replacing your glow plugs often. Neither of those three things you want. From a car that costs this much, you want to see a lot better performance. What I'm going to do now is show you the opposite side, and I'm going to lean out the engine, show you what happens when an engine is running too lean. See, the engine is so lean it will starve the fuel. That is a very extreme case. The engine is running so lean it's got not enough fuel going in there, way too much air. This is a dangerous situation for your engine. If you find yourself in this situation, you need to richen it out as soon as possible. Reason being is, again, you're going to be fouling your glow plugs, okay? Secondly, it's dangerous for the engine. Like I said earlier, these engines rely solely on the lubrication of the fuel to lubricate the engine, the piston and the liner. It's essential. Therefore, if you're running it lean, it's not getting the lubrication that it needs. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope this video has been helpful to you, the tuning of the high-speed heel. If you do have any questions related to RC tuning, please feel free to drop me a message down in the comments section below. And of course, if this video has been helpful to you, please hit the subscribe button because it really helps us out. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you in the next video.